In just about every self-defense case, there are going to be people on the sidelines that are going to say, you know what? That person could have done something different. For example, the Amber Geiger case, people are going to say she could have backed out of that apartment and called for help. She didn't need to go into the apartment and confront the victim. In this case, Jean Botha, she shot him dead, and she's facing 10 years in prison. So what is the law? Well, a lot of people have mistakenly assumed that if there was something else that you could have done and you didn't do it, you can't claim self-defense. Dumb argument. Hello out there. I am trying to get through.
With his powerful brainwaves cradled in the warmth of reasoning, it's time for Johnnie Walker Dread to straighten you out on a thing or two. Emanating all the way from exciting Las Vegas, Oklahoma, it's the Johnnie Walker Dread Show.
On the surface of it, it sounds like it's a perfectly reasonable thing to say. After all, if you see somebody do something and they ended up shooting somebody dead and they could have done something else that would not have resulted in that death, then why are they allowed to claim self-defense? That doesn't make any sense. Of course, the key word here is hindsight. When we are looking at an event after the fact, it's really easy for us to come up with alternatives that could have been taken and the person under severe strain and pressure did not. And the law recognizes that. In fact, every state, as far as I know, recognizes that hindsight is a really, really bad thing to try to rely on. So let's go ahead and take a look at what Wisconsin law says about this whole idea that you must exhaust all possible alternatives to claim self-defense. So we go to 939.48, self-defense and defense of others, specifically Section 2. Okay, so Section 2 says provocation affects the privilege of self-defense as follows. Okay, so one of the arguments here is that Kyle provoked the attack by Jo Jo Rosenbaum and therefore can't claim self-defense. And I dispense with that one in another video. But let's go ahead and read Section 8 because it's directly relevant to what we're talking about. It says here, a person who engages in unlawful conduct of a type likely to provoke others to attack him or her and thereby does provoke an attack is not entitled to claim the privilege of self-defense against such attack. So did Kyle do anything illegal here to provoke the attack? As far as I can tell, no. But let's suppose he did. Some people are saying, what about that minor in possession? Sure, if the fact that he was underage is what caused the provocation, maybe. I fail to see how that's even possible. If I see a person walking down and normally I would say, I'm not going to attack them, but then I think, oh, wait, this person is 17, not 18. Oh, that makes me so mad. I'm going to have to attack this person. Does that sound reasonable? Okay. But let's suppose that Kyle did provoke the attack. Let's read on. Except when the attack which ensues is of a type causing the person engaged in the unlawful conduct to reasonably believe that he or she is in imminent danger of death or great bodily harm. So, in other words, if you believe that your life is in great danger, this whole stipulation that you can't claim self-defense if you've been provoked might not fly. Now, notice I said might. In such a case, the person engaging in the unlawful conduct, Kyle, and again, that's assuming that he's engaged in unlawful conduct, we're just taking that one at face value, is privileged to act in self-defense, but the person is not privileged to resort to the use of force intended or likely to cause death, okay, shooting Jo Jo Rosenbaum with this AR-15, unless the person reasonably believes he or she has exhausted every other reasonable means to escape from or otherwise avoid death or great bodily harm at the hands of his or her assailant. Now, the key phrase here is, unless the person reasonably believes. In other words, it's about what Kyle thinks, not about what we think. We could look at an event and we see person A being attacked by person B, and person A could have done something here that would have avoided the violence altogether, but chose not to, instead ended up killing person B. Now, what does the law say here? It depends on what person A is thinking. Did the person know that this other alternative was available? And did the person know that this other alternative would have eliminated the threat? And did this person simply disregard that and instead choose to kill the person? So the question now becomes, what could Kyle have done otherwise? Well, okay. So the argument is that he ran from Jo Jo Rosenbaum. That's good. It shows he's trying to escape. But he didn't run to the right place. He ran into an empty parking lot when he could have ran into the loving arms of the Black Lives Matter movement. We don't know what he was thinking, and he's not going to take the stand. He doesn't have to prove to anybody what he was thinking. You have to prove that he was not thinking that. How are you going to do that? In truth, this whole clause here, this whole stipulation that the person has to reasonably believe that he or she has exhausted every other reasonable means to escape comes from a stand your ground perspective. And that is, Wisconsin is not a stand your ground state. So if you are attacked, you have to basically retreat. You have a duty to retreat. That's that other alternative that if it's clear you chose not to take that and instead shoot the person, you can lose your claim to self-defense. It is not meant for cases where people on the sidelines can dream up things that the person could have done instead and say, well, since other thing was available to him and he didn't take it, he loses his claim of self-defense. That's not the purpose of this law. Again, hindsight is 20/20. We have no way of knowing what Kyle was thinking, and frankly, we have no way of knowing whether Kyle would have thought that doing so would have prevented him from getting hurt by Jo Jo Rosenbaum. And in fact, there's plenty of reasons to think that such an idea would be absurd. And that goes for my next dumb argument that's coming up here shortly. Running into BLM would have helped Kyle Rittenhouse. So it's a dumb argument. You cannot look at these self-defense cases in hindsight. You have to look at what the person is thinking at the time. Like my video and subscribe to my channel.